Hi, it's Paul with Bitonto Pizza, and it is pizza season again. We've been off for the past few weeks because the weather's just been a little too crazy for us here in the Dallas area. We've had ice, we've had snow, we've had freezing temperatures. I usually don't make pizza in that weather because it sucks to be outside. So we're gonna get started again. But we're going to focus in on a little problem that you may have with your oven. If you use a factory oven like I do, like the Zio Chiro, you may get some moisture, especially during those cold temperatures. If it freezes and if you get any form of precipitation, that's going to make its way back into the shell. If you have a pizza oven in a pizza shop, you don't have to worry about it too much because it's always on and it's always getting rid of the moisture that's in there with the heat that's in the oven. But for people like me who make pizza once a week and then, now it's been over a month because of the bad weather, I'm a little afraid that I'm getting some moisture into this oven. It could even come in through the side here where, I get some some moisture that freezes on the outside of the oven, gets into the cracks on the side. It could get into the base, it could get into other areas. To be on the safe side, I'm gonna run a couple of curing fires in this oven. If you haven't cured a pizza oven before, let me just explain the process. The process is building smaller and smaller fires, gradually increasing the heat until it's time to actually use the oven again. The reason you do that is because you want to get rid of all the moisture that's in there in a very slow way, rather than drying it out really quickly with the flash heat of a 900 Fahrenheit oven. That could cause cracking, and in some cases, even worse, you might actually blow out the side of your oven. So to avoid that and to make sure my oven lasts longer, because I don't want any more cracks in the oven than I already have, I'm gonna do it gradually, and I'm not gonna do a whole week's worth. When I first cured my oven, I did 6 fires each day and gradually built up. Today and tomorrow, I'm gonna do some modified fires. So one of the principles of the curing fire that I will respect is I'm not gonna let the fire or the flame itself touch the top of the inside of the oven. I don't want that flame touching the dome because I don't wanna heat it up too quick. The second thing is I'm gonna put it in the very center of the oven. I'm gonna put it on some aluminum foil, keeping it just off of the floor of the oven. Earlier, I chopped some wood, and so I have a nice bucket of small pieces of wood to make just this kind of fire with. And if I have some left over, well, I'll probably use it just to start fires in the future. To build a small fire, to get a very limited flame in the oven, and to get it going. We'll do some time lapse and then we'll do some commentary on it. Thanks again for watching. I hope if you find this video useful that you'll give me a thumbs up and you'll subscribe to the channel. We'll make this quick because I know watching somebody light a fire is about like watching paint dry. And you'll see that I'm trying to keep the flame off the top of the roof. And you'll notice that the fire goes out from time to time. This is pretty normal because until you start to get warm enough, there's a draft in there. The fire itself is actually going to not bring in enough oxygen. So just keep going at this pace and you'll be fine. Thanks for following us to the end of this video. I want to point out a couple of things that I did during the curing process that I wasn't able to get video of at the time for a variety of reasons. I did 2 fires. So I had one on a Monday, and then the other one I think I did on a Thursday evening. And then the next time I made pizza was a couple of days after that. And I purposely let the oven warm up a little bit more slowly the next time I made the pizza. On the second fire, I closed the oven door while it was still burning. And this I did because the oven was getting a little too hot, even though I had a pretty small flame. By closing the door, I'm suffocating the fire to a certain extent. Now my door has holes in it, so oxygen is still being drawn in, but there's no real draft coming out. And that really chokes down the fire, but it does still keep burning. And it burns at a lower and lower rate and kind of smolders all night. And that keeps the oven temperature up for quite a while and allows the heat to chase some of that water out of the brick, out of the refractory material. And you'll notice from the inset video that the next morning it had pretty much burned all the way through. There was quite a bit of wood in there when I closed the door on this. But when I opened it up the next morning, it had all become either charcoal or burned completely to ash. I recommend that you do this recuring of the oven when you're ready to make pizza again, if you have a gap like I do because of the cold weather. If you make pizza during the cold weather and you're doing it once or twice a week, you probably don't necessarily need to do this as much. But if you have a cold snap like we have here, where you're going to get some moisture that freezes on the oven, possibly gets inside the brick, you really should go through this process again. I'm not saying that your oven's going to blow up if you don't do it, but the oven's a big investment. For me, I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I did the recuring process. I appreciate all of the viewers. There was a few week gap when I wasn't answering questions and replies, and I had a really long list of replies, and I apologize to you if you were waiting for me to get back to you, but I've since replied to everybody, and I should be able to get to those a little bit more quickly. Thanks again, and enjoy your pizza.